I was kind of want to talk to Taka. We gotta get our Celestes in though. I want to max her out. Map. What is the map button again? You're in the dining hall. No one's there. It's all about the third floor. Okay, you're in the hallway. You're in the physics lab. Alright, Celeste is in the rec room. Taka's in class 3A. Interesting. Let's go to the hall. Okay. I'd be curious to chat with, obviously I know we can't get any further, like, relation points or anything with... I thought you were in the physics... What? Oh, you're hiding over there. Hey, Kyoko, what are you doing here? What's the matter? You keeping an eye on me? Don't worry, I'm not gonna kill anyone. Should I talk to Kyoko? Wait, can I? I thought I had maxed out with her. Oh, also, we never read our report card update for Oi. Getting sick is for wimps. When it gets cold, I shed my layers. Yeah, I hear when people whisper behind my back and call me a super spaz, but so what? How far are we with, So you... Okay, so we already have all 5 of yours. You're starred up. Can you get multiple stars, or is it just the one? Chat. Well, we definitely want to get Celeste's 5th. That would probably get us to max on Celeste. I mean, let me just see if anything happens. 1 star per character? Okay. So I spend time with her.
It's true.
Just about to head to the dining hall to get something to drink. You wanna come with me? I can still spend time with her. Huh. Went to the dining hall and drank some tea with Kyoko. Kyoko and I grew a little closer today. Huh. Oh. Let's see. Do we still have any more of the... There's a specific thing we're giving her, mostly, right? The, Yeah, the cassettes. She likes the cassettes. Actual, please. How strange. I get the impression that she liked it. That's good. Okay, so that was a waste of time, I think. Cool. Still have time. Okay. We will not do that again. Like, I presume there's not a benefit for me going past, like, maxing it out, right? What am I doing? Let's just use the map. Or not that map, this map. Alright, we're going to... Oh wait, dormitory floors where everyone's at now? Sheesh. Man! Okay. What, Celeste was in the dining hall, I think? We'll chill with Celeste. Celeste is not in the dining hall. Good to know. key is not the will to win. Everybody has that. It's the will to prepare to win. That's important.
Yeah.
That's a quote from the famous basketball coach, Bobby Knight.
Okay.
So it's like, we have to work hard, you know? Alright, we'll see who else is around. I can almost feel the wind on my face. We'll see who else is around. Or was she in the kitchen, maybe? Is that where she is? Because I thought for sure she was in, like, a dining area. She is in the kitchen, okay. Ah, Makoto. I should tell you, I have recently seen the shadow of death upon you. Huh? That's just a little joke. That is not funny, Celeste. Alright, we'll spend some time. It would seem I'm growing used to your deplorable face. This is another aspect of adaptation, I suppose. Despite her thinly veiled insults, I spent some time with Celeste. Celeste and I grew a little closer today. Let's give her a present for sure. What shall we give her? I don't know. Well, okay, we know she likes tea, but we don't have any tea. She's not cute enough for a kitchen hair clip. I don't know. Maybe she'd like the Empress thong. It does come in her color, right? Her signature color is black. Sure, we'll try it out. Designed solely for those in control of their buttocks. It's unisex, apparently. It's black. She likes wearing black. Why not? Here you go.
Honestly.
Well, now that is quite the problem. I don't want my clothes to get dirty, so I'm afraid I can't accept this garbage. I think I made her mad. She probably thinks worse of me now. Dang it. My social life is not going well so far.
This is a school announcement. It is now 10 p.m.
Maybe we need to go buy some more things,
Officially nighttime.
so I have some better fits.
Soon the doors to the dining hall will be locked, and entry at that point is strictly prohibited. Okay then. Sweet dreams, everyone. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
I wonder who's going to get killed next. My instinct tells me, like, it could be a conflict between like Taka and Hifumi of some nature. Nighttime already. I guess I'll just go to bed for today. Like, it seems pretty likely that Taka might kill someone. I don't know. I know he's like the moral compass, but he's obviously not stable. He just keeps getting more things, I'm noticing. Happy New Day! I'm the kind of guy I don't want to celebrate a new year. I want to celebrate the dawn of every new day. Because every new day deserves celebrating, so...
Once again, Happy New Day!
I think Oi could be next. Maybe. She has been getting a decent bit of spotlight here, but I feel like it's getting to the point where like almost everyone's getting spotlight in any given chapter.
Officially over. Time to rise and shine.
Just vibes, yeah.
Get ready to greet another beautiful day.
Yeah. I hope not. She's still pretty nice. Granted, I will say, maybe you don't kill Taka. Because then that doesn't give, like, just from a meta perspective, I feel like if I were writing the game, I would want more time to play around with this new kind of personality he's developed. I wouldn't want to end that prematurely. Gift grind, yeah.
Oh.
Taka and Coco are not here today. Kyoka's still on guard duty, probably. I have no idea about Taka.
Damnation!
May as well just forget about that guy.
So,
You'd have to get so mad. They're rivals in love, what are you gonna do? You put him on the same level as that virgin, I might catch his virginity. there's no way you've actually, like with someone else. Right? I mean, surely not. Yeah, my guess is you're already infected. Feel like she's not getting as fleshed out as the others? I don't know. I mean, she has been a bit of a focus this round. Like, we even had... Like, it's kind of random, but we had her point of view at the very beginning of this chapter. Which I don't know what that means, but it's the first time that's happened. Which almost, to me, might seem like she might be like, you know, like a Final 3 sort of contender, maybe. And the fact that she hasn't been developed as much yet could imply... it could imply that they're going to kill her off, or it could imply that... Because especially now, we're getting pretty late in the game, right? We're past the point where it was just... Someone needs to die in, like, the first chapter. And even then, like, the only person who I think really died without much development. Well, okay, hold on. Chihiro got a lot of development. That was after he died. Sayaka, we got a lot of development with her, a lot of focus on her before she died. I guess Leon we didn't really get to see that much from. Interesting. I don't know. How many people do we have left? I think we're at 10, so it's like there's still a fair amount. Say Junko died prematurely? Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to know what sort of narrative rules they're following here. My guess is you're already infected. Wait, can you really catch it? Huh? Stop being vulgar. Let's eat the breakfast. But as soon as my hands approached my food... What is it, Jill? Oh, that voice! The doors to the dining hall exploded open and a figure appeared. I guess one thing worth considering is we could just have a case where Jill kills someone. Like, she is literally a mass murderer, so...
So in the end...
So it's you, Genocide Jack, and...
That's enough.
Don't bother asking why we arrive at the same time. The answer should be obvious.
Yep.
I'll give you a hint. I'm wearing red lingerie today. Oh, I should have given the thought to Jill! Oh, if only.
Huh?
I don't think anyone wanted to know. Hold on a second, you? Huh? What's your top power level, like 35, 22, 33? You start out big on top to try and look thinner down south? She referring to... Look at your melons, they're seriously gargantuan. Do you dunk them in milk every night or something? You're starting to freak me out.
No forgiveness!
If you lay a finger on Hina, I will show you no mercy. So, what do you want? Surely you are not here to join us for breakfast.
Naturally.
Of course not. I came to hear a story. A story? A story that nobody's bothered to tell me yet. You talking about alter ego? Sorry, but we can't talk about that right now.
What?
Why not? Sakura's so defensive of Hina, it's very sweet. Agreed. Because of certain circumstances. Up till now, you haven't given a crap about anything, and now you're all concerned? Adam Bats.
It's all clear now.
I've just made a decision. When we get out of here, I'm going to feed your body to the vultures. I think it's more like Jill will be killed by someone. Her killing someone would be way too obvious. Well, yeah, but because it's so obvious, it would not be obvious. Don't you see? What kind of messed up dictator are you?
What?
But isn't this a democracy, or would you exclude those who don't fit into your tyrannical majority? That's not what we're doing.
That's fine.
Well, whatever, if nothing else, tell me what's going on with Taka. I saw him yesterday, I happened to notice something seemed off, so I was curious.
Indeed.
Taka has become utterly useless. Celeste, you didn't have to say it like that!
I see.
Did his spirit collapse or something? Was he unable to withstand this environment? Those men who clothe themselves in the cheap fabric of justice are often the first to fall. Perhaps that will make things all the more interesting. Interesting?
Such ignorance.
Let me leave you with a bit of advice. Don't come to rely on false camaraderie, or you'll reap its bitter reward.
What the heck?
That's why you came to give us that amazing advice? It seems I'm unwelcome here. Then I'll grant your desire and remove myself.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Stop talking.
You don't need to come with me.
Yep.
You don't have to play hard to get, Master. You can just play hard. That doesn't make any sense. Yakia started too slowly back out of the room. Hey, wouldn't you rather our company than hers? He started picking up speed as soon as he was sprinting out of the dining hall. He ran away? So he's running? Hard to get, I see. Wait. So at the end there, what was that all about? Just that Byakuya was like, maybe he's like the mean guy who starts acting different or getting all flustered when things change? I guess so. Those of us in the dining hall finished our breakfast and went back to our rooms. What to do today? All right, let's actually get like a well, okay, first we're gonna get a bunch of items so that we can for sure have a productive time hanging out with Celeste, because we have done, well, I guess we got Oi, and that's something to consider. Maybe we should just hang out with Hina a bunch since we have like 2 copies of a gift we know she loves. All right, it's capsule time. Let's give it a shot. So how are you doing, chat? Anything going on in life that I ought to know about? How does this work again? Okay, that's how it works. Oh, we got a watch. Nice. How many items are there? Like roughly 100? Gambling indeed. Yeah, you missed Super Taka. That's right, I'm sure there's be plenty of Super Taka yet to happen. I hope. What is that? Like a suit of armor? Recently started summer break. Love break, but hates the summer. Fair enough. Can be a bit warm, depending on where you are. Little sleepy but good, and can't wait for a big run in Splatoon 3 soon. Ooh, that sounds fun. Oh, I've collected 50 unique presents. Lovely. I'm going to Washington, D.C. next week. Wow. Won't be any streams that week. Should be fun. I didn't know. Whoa, that's pretty cool. Are you like a lobbyist or something, or is it just like a vacation? What is that? Is that a swimsuit? Hit over 90 recently? I don't know what temperature it's been where I live. Don't just really don't pay that much attention to it, I guess. And I think it's been fairly nice. I've gone for a jog a couple times. Haven't died of heat stroke from that, at the very least. It's like, if I were to do... So each one only reduces your chance by like a bit under 1%. Doesn't really seem worth it. I guess if you really want to go for like 100%. Yeah. I was looking at purchasing some Switch games recently, because, yeah, Switch games are useful for me, for obvious reasons. Running a mile at 90 is the hard part, though. I can imagine. Anyways, though, but I was looking up some Switch like prices of Switch games, and I found that as long as there's a site I use sometimes to purchase like foreign Switch games, which can be useful if they like don't get a release in America or something. But I noticed that it was actually, as long as you ordered enough to get the free shipping, it was actually cheaper to buy a bunch of new games from there than it was like to import the games than it was to like actually just like go to like Amazon and buy them normally, which is interesting. I guess I think it's something to do with like I think the dollar is like really strong against the yen or something right now, so the Japanese games, like seriously, I was buying some like $60 games for like 45 bucks. Now, obviously, I've got to wait a bit of time for it to ship because it's importing from like Japan and Asia and stuff, but Switch is region free, so there's no real reason not to. I guess unless you're like really picky about like, I need the North American box art of all my games. Do you think purchasing a Switch would be a good idea right now? The Switch, I think, is a quite good console. It's got a very good library. The question really comes down to what your priority is as a gamer, honestly, as to whether or not it's a good idea to buy it now. I think the general consensus is we're probably within a year, maybe at most 2 of the Switch 2 coming out. So if your priority is to play all like the most recent games, then I'll be honest, right now probably isn't the time to be jumping on the Switch bandwagon. However, if your priority is just to buy some like and play good games in general, like the Switch has a pretty good library, and obviously it's got a pretty nice form factor if you like the whole like going on the go sort of thing. But I mean, certainly there's a lot of stuff worth playing on the Switch. I mean, some recommendations on my part. And the thing with the Switch, right, is since it's Nintendo, there's like tons of exclusives, right? So like, you know, Breath of the Wild is obviously worth playing. Tears of the Kingdom less so, but it's still a good game. You know, Odyssey, Super Mario Odyssey is good. You know, I feel like the Nintendo stuff. And the Fire Emblem games on it are pretty good, if you like sort of RPG stuff. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not expensive to necessarily get into the Switch ecosystem either. Like, it's not, if you go into a GameStop or something, you can buy like a used Switch Lite for like, you know, $160-ish, I think, maybe somewhere between that and 180. A lot of games you'd have to play, for sure, yeah. So I'd say that's kind of what it comes down to. If you want to like be into all like the new games that'll be coming out in the next few years, then obviously I don't think Switch is the way to go. But if the game's currently on it interests you, I don't see why not. Honestly, as embarrassing as this is to admit, I hate games with Entity V-player combat. It makes me anxious for some reason. I see. Huh. Interesting. So you prefer multiplayer games? I'm gonna play Banana Rumble when it comes out this month. Look, I'll be honest, I didn't actually know it was coming out this month until literally today when I saw an advertisement for it. It's not likely, it's not impossible. I've never played a Monkey Ball game. That's a Monkey Ball game, right? So it's not like on like I must play this list of things. I've gotten so many copies of that, whatever it is. I think it's some sort of swimming suits. I'd say probably the more likely kind of upcoming game would be Luigi's Mansion 2. But even then, it'll depend a bit on how that lines up schedule-wise. Like it would probably make most sense to do that after we're done with Thousand Year Door. I don't know how long that'll take necessarily. I guess I've been averaging like a chapter per stream, so probably not a huge amount of time. Splatoon 4 is apparently in development. Makes sense. I mean, it's a successful enough series. It's probably one of those series that's basically always in development at this point. Right? I always love the rumors that come out where it's like, did you know the next Zelda game is currently being developed? It's like, yeah! The next Zelda game has been currently in development literally every year for like the past 30 years. Like as soon as they finish the one that's coming out, probably even before it's on store shelves, because it's gonna be done before it gets printed and shipped. Yeah, it's going to be, they work on the next one. They have a whole development studio that literally only does that. Like, wow, good job, leakers. Now, if you come out and you're like, well, as it turns out, there's a rumor going around that the next, I don't know, random dead Nintendo franchise next Star Fox game is coming out, is in development, then yeah, now that's more interesting, I guess. Well, I mean, not so much in the case of Star Fox, because it's just gonna be Star Fox 64 for like the 8th time, but yeah. Otherwise, it could in theory be interesting. I'm more impressed when someone announces that a more niche series is getting a new game or a remake in the works, as is the case with Thousand Year Door. Yeah. One of the Switch games that I'm looking forward to, I don't think it's even got a solid release date that it's necessarily even coming this year, but I'll be curious to see, check out the Professor Layton game when it comes out. I was a fan of the series, and by a fan of the series, I mean I played like a third of the games. But you can't blame me, I was a child at the time. I didn't know the other games existed. It was really weird, because I played the first Professor Layton game and the third one. And that was, like, they're mostly self-contained, but I think I could tell at the time, like, I feel like I'm missing some context here. I'd kill for another Fossil Fighters game. I've never heard of that, but that sounds incredible. Really enjoyed Luck Be a Landlord when it was at its peak. Played my fair share of FPSs. Oh, Luck Be a Landlord. I didn't play that personally. I think I saw someone playing it, though. Seemed interesting. Those sort of like roguelite games are cool. Like, the most similar game to that I've played recently would be Balatro. I'd played more on stream, but I feel like it doesn't really... I feel like my streaming audience doesn't actually like watching me play it that much, so... It's not exactly the best decision as a streamer. Think of trying Balatro. It looks right up my alley. Kind of a boring game to watch, not gonna lie. Well, the thing with watching Balatro is Balatro, I think, to watch, because I've watched a bit of Balatro in my day. Like, especially if you're not, like, really into, like, all the, like, math and stuff. Oh, if we, you know, remove this card from our deck and replace it with this, that increases our chances of drawing the hand that we want by, like, 1% or something. No, I mean, it's a 52 card deck. It would have to be like at least 2%. Anyways. It can be a lot of... I think the kind of conclusion, last like 10 minutes of any Balatro run are pretty interesting. But to get there, And it's interesting to build from the player's perspective, but watching that build kind of come to fruition can be less interesting, for sure. Live too, I imagine, because whenever I've watched Bellotro stuff, it's been on double speed. I imagine that probably helps. Granted, most things I watch are on double speed when I have the opportunity. Part of why I don't watch that many streams live, because obviously that's not an option. And also I just have a weird sleep schedule. Most people I would watch aren't live when I'm able to watch. Found Luck Be a Landlord to be a way easier watch. That's what got to be played in the first place. Who knows, maybe I could try it at some points. Oh, you may be wondering what are we going to on the capsules? I think we'll just go until we either run out of money or get to 100%. I think we can make 100% here. Granted, I mean... these odds are starting to get pretty low, right? So we have like 80, we'll call it 16% odds to get a new one on any given roll, which means we'd expect every like, we'd expect to get a new one within about, what, like 7 or 8 rolls, I guess? No, it would be closer to 6, I think. Well, hold on, so... yeah, about roughly 6. But then we'd have to do that with diminishing odds. Like, it's worth noting, once it gets down to like 1%, then we're actually already at the point where we don't have enough coins to have an expected value, an expected return where we would expect to get it. Man, so I came across recently some anti-natalists on Reddit. Lovely folks, truly. Oh, sheesh, wow, I'm just getting so lucky. And I have to say, and granted, I'm not sure if this is an unpopular opinion, but those guys are insane. Like, they're kind of like terrible people, I think. Now, granted, maybe I just saw like the worst example of the anti-natalists. No, actually, I guess the worst example is people who just, for some reason, hate children, or like, no children. Well, actually, there's a lot of really bad strains of the anti-natalists. You got the I hate children, then you got the humanity should go extinct strain. You got the environmentalist strain, which, I mean, I guess I see where you're coming from, but simultaneously, from my perspective, the Earth exists, or I care about the environment in so much as it benefits humanity, and so so like sacrificing humanity for the sake of the environment doesn't really add up in my mind. Because our perception of the environment is what gives it its value, in my opinion. But then this particular strain I ran into on Reddit was, and for anyone unfamiliar, anti-natalist is people who are against, I guess, human reproduction, basically. Most Reddit anti-natalists are thinly veiled child haters. Yeah, this one Reddit anti-natalist I saw was veiling it in, like, they're really smug about it too. They're like, well, because I have been enlightened by a deeper, more interesting, more enlightened, I think they literally use an enlightened moral philosophy. I know that it is immoral to have a child. And basically the argument, and I can see how you arrive at this given the given in the current age, current era, a lot of morality is based in a lot of modern morality is based in like either anti-discrimination or consent, right? So like democracy gets its authority via consent of the governed, as opposed to say like a monarchy, which historically would have gotten authority from like, it is the will of God that I shall rule. Let me decide on this. I mean, I think it's fine in context at least. I don't really like how it seems like anytime I like allow something through the filter, it's like, oh, that's good from now on. It's like, well, I mean, it's good in this case, at the very least. Like from now on though, I don't know, maybe not. And basically the argument boils down to, or the argument they were presenting boiled down to like, well, life sucks so much that to bring someone into life, to give someone life without their consent, which, just as a side note, literally impossible to get consent, so, yeah. The, is like immoral wrong, which, I mean, firstly, you're stealing a whole bunch of bases there, right? Firstly, you're stealing the base that life is a net negative, right? That it's just obvious that all the suffering in life outweighs any positives of life, right? And in fact, and granted, I don't want to say this in like a mean way, or like a, oh, go, like, I mean, this is like bad argumentation 101, but I mean, if that's what you honestly believe, shouldn't you go kill yourself? Like, again, I do not advocate suicide, but how can you say that, oh, for people who do not exist yet, it's obvious that life is a net negative, experientially speaking. But for me, no, my life is fine. My life, I should continue. Now, I guess you could square that circle if you were, like, saying, oh, I'm such an antinatalist, CMeeCraft really putting his career out there for this one? Look, if saying that, hey, the species going extinct is good, is, you know, risky in this day and age, then I guess I'm just a risky guy, alright? I'm gonna come out with the hot take of, you know what, I think humanity as a species should continue to exist into the future. That's my spicy take. But no, seriously though, the only way I can, well, I guess there's two ways to square the circle. One would be, oh, well, suicide would cause me more suffering and therefore it's bad for me because I already exist. The other, guys, unpopular opinion here, I like being alive. But even that I don't think holds water, because in theory, because you're going to die at some point, that's certain, and it's probably going to be bad. If anything, you can commit suicide in such a way that it would reduce the expected suffering to you of your death, right? You know, again, I'm not advocating suicide, but bullet to the head, I think, is generally speaking a less painful way to go than like dying of cancer for like a decade at the end of your life or something. So that, actually, I don't think holds water. I think the only way it could hold water is if you say, well, I'm such an advocate for antinatalism that I can stop enough people from being born that, like, it's a... like, I will suffer through this life so other people don't. Which I don't think anyone's actually that much of an antinatal advocate, so that even would be valid. And if it is valid, that's just kind of a sick sort of way to live your life, I think. But yeah, so that's like point number one of like, in my opinion, it's incoherent to say that you think life is a net negative experience if you're not suicidal. Again, not saying you should be suicidal, I'm saying you shouldn't be antinatalist. Just to be clear. But then also, I think it's kind of misguided that a philosophy that, and this is where I come to blows with libertarians. Unless they're like a serial killer. I mean, to an extent, that is kind of the natural, logical endpoint of antinatalism. I mean, again, you could defend it with saying, well, killing people would cause active harm, and therefore it would outweigh it. But again, everyone's going to die eventually. So if your philosophy is, you know, any year spent alive is going to be a net negative, experientially speaking, death is a certainty regardless. So why not make it come sooner to save you the suffering of extra years of life? Anyways, like I was saying though, so this is where I come to blows with libertarians though, which I think a lot of libertarianism is a very, as with most like extremist ideologies, 10% is getting down there. Well, yeah, I suppose it is, but like, and let's run through the math here, right? I can spend 1 for a 10% chance, or say if I spent 10, it'd be a 20% chance. So I'd be spending 10 times as many coins to double my odds. But I'm pretty sure 10% chances is a greater chance than 1 20% chance. Fairly certain of that. I think. Because even after 2 10% chances, right? First is 10%, then next is going to be 10% of the 90%. So, I guess it would save time, but mathematically speaking, like, the only way where it's, like, mathematically I think makes sense is if you have enough coins where you can get it down to literally a 0% repeat chance. Is YouTube chat on another monitor farther away? I can see you squinting to read it, lol. No. I've got them both on 2 monitors. It's just that the, so I've got the monitor over here. This one has a clearer view of the chat, so, like, the chat's on my main monitor. I can only see, like, the first few, and then they get covered up by, like, the game and stuff. Sometimes I'll look over to the other one to get a look at the whole thing. That might be what you're seeing. And it's like I was saying, so most ideologies that take it to like a ridiculous extreme are bad, right? Like libertarians with like, oh, privatize everything, privatize the border, privatize police. It's like, what? Look, historically we do have privatized police are a thing, historically. It's called the mafia. It's called organized crime. I don't think you really want that. Anyways, but like I said, this is where I conflict a lot with libertarians, is the main kind of moral thesis with libertarianism is the concept that like consent is the basically only virtue. Like the only moral consideration is whether or not people have consented to a thing. And outside of that, there's like no further consideration. But I feel like that in itself is kind of a flawed premise, right? Like, I mean, like, here's my hypothetical, right? Let's suppose you came up to me and said, hey, please punch me in the face. And I obliged, and I punched you in the face. All right, that's, you know, you consented. And I guess you got what you wanted out of it, in theory. But, I mean, objectively speaking, it wasn't really a good outcome for anyone involved. But now let's imagine I just out of the blue walk up to you and say, here's $1 million. Go spend it how you'd like. You didn't consent to get $1 million. But you're certainly better off having just randomly gotten $1 million you didn't consent to be given than you would have if you had consented to being punched in the face. And I think there's, obviously consent is an aspect, especially when we're talking about things that could have negative consequences, right? Yeah, like for example with Danganronpa here, the fact that we did not consent to this death game makes it worse, certainly. But I think that you do also have to weigh the underlying objective kind of value of what is being consented to or not being consented to in the first place. The issue comes when you try to define extremism. Everyone picks the bar below themselves. Well, no, I think you can objectively define extremism. Have you tried telling Monokuma that you want to consent? Somehow I don't think that would work, but it's an interesting idea, for sure. I think you can define extremism very simply. Well, there's two ways to define extremism. Number one is extremism of, we'll say actions, right? Which is someone who is willing to go to extreme lengths to enact their vision or whatever, right? This is the difference between like someone who's just like run of the mill. It's a political party. We're running for office. We're trying to change the government versus we are terrorists. We are going to like kill people and bomb buildings to get our way, right? Extremism of means, right? Which I think generally we can start categorizing you as being an extremist of means once you have resorted to physical violence, I would say. What's an extreme length, though? I would say physical violence is where you draw the line. It's where I would draw the line, at least. Because once you are in a society where physical violence, well, I guess there's other lines you could draw too. But I think ultimately it kind of comes down to physical. I think physical violence is a big one. I think you could add other ones like weaponization of the legal system and whatnot too, right? Yeah, if you're in like Soviet era like show trials and stuff, that's not good either. But then I think you can also define extremism as extremism of like the ideology itself. In which case, I would say, basically, you're dealing with extremism of ideology itself when basically everything has been boiled down to one maxim, right? When we're talking about an ideology that sees the world through just one lens, and that's the only thing it judges things by, I think that's when we have an extreme ideology. Ideologically, right? So like with the example of the libertarians, you know, the fact that they have basically like one moral principle, which is like, you can't force me to do anything against my will, or force me to not do something that I do will, right? Or I think the way a libertarian put it, to be generous to libertarians, would basically be that you should be free to do whatever you want so long as it doesn't harm someone else, right? I'd say that is an extreme maxim because you have gotten to the point where you're judging everything based on one criteria and have no room for nuance. I think that's where you get into the ideology itself is extreme, whereas as opposed to the means itself is extreme. But who cares what I have to say? I'm just some streamer slash YouTuber. I'm not. Although some could say we are the philosophers of our day, perhaps. Alright. It's dangerous speech. Yeah, difference between dangerous versus like hate speech or whatever. Whereas dangerous speech would specifically be like incitement and whatnot. Yeah. Should social media police dangerous / hate speech? Getting philosophical while gambling in Danganronpa? Well, what else are we gonna do? Anyway, so we have 91% of the items. Okay. Cool. I should probably get going. Indeed. Okay, I mean, we definitely have the items we need to, like, make people happy now. Let's take a look. Oh, man. Maybe we won't take a look at literally all the items right now. We'll just kind of look at them when we're giving people stuff.